Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Rapid Rundown, your one-stop shop for the most important market-moving news right now. So let's jump right in with the first topic of today, which is that gold and silver hit record highs amid political and macro risk. So gold hit $5,100 and silver hit the historic high of $115, both driven by political uncertainty and safe haven demand. And gold hit the $5,000 mark much quicker than Wall Street expected, which shows how investors are hedging against US government shutdown fears right now and potential trade conflicts. Institutional flows into bullion products are surging, which shows how risk aversion is heightened, and this is basically changing the dynamics between real assets like gold and silver and traditional bonds, which are normally considered very low risk or even risk free. And the second topic of today is how the US dollar weakness is intensifying. The dollar fell sharply due to a number of factors, including Trump's recent tariff threats on allies including Canada and South Korea, the looming US government shutdown, and geopolitical tensions as markets reassess US fiscal and political risk. Emerging market currencies, commodities, and US exports benefit from a weakening US dollar, and in general, forex volatility is rising, which changes or impacts risk positionings globally. Investors still expect 2 more rate cuts from the US Federal Reserve this year, which would add fuel to the fire of US dollar weakness, as of course rate cuts lead to more US dollar supply, which of course lowers the currency's worth. And the third topic of today is the Japanese yen weakness and strength and developments regarding the US Federal Reserve. The Japanese yen had fallen to an 18-month low, which caused speculation that Japanese and US authorities would coordinate to strengthen the yen against the US dollar. And on the news, or on these rumors, the yen already gained 1% versus the US dollar. And the Federal Reserve has done a so-called rate check, which traditionally is a signal that it might do currency intervention. So investors are very closely watching the policy tone from the Fed. But why even do any of this? So Japan wants to strengthen the yen to keep imports cheap and to be able to, in the future, provide more fiscal stimulus, while the US wants to weaken the dollar to make exports cheap. However, the news of this already achieved basically the intended outcome, which is the yen strengthening against the dollar. So it's questionable they will actually go through with any currency intervention. And the fourth and final topic of today is South Korea and Trump's renewed tariff threats on it. Trump threatened 25% tariffs on South Korea, up from 15% as agreed in their trade deal, because Trump said they were not living up to their part of the deal. And commentators are questioning whether these new tariffs will actually go through or whether this is just a negotiation/pressure tactic, as you also saw with the European countries and now also Canada. News like this definitely adds volatility to the markets. However, the South Korean Kospi index is actually up since the news, as investors bought the temporary dip. All right, and that was the past. And now looking into the future, in the US, a lot of companies and US tech companies report earnings this week. So that's something to watch out for. All right, and that was now it for this week's Rapid Rundown. I really hope you enjoyed. Comment down below what you thought were other important news and what are important upcoming news. And otherwise, if you're interested in finance, investing, trading, and AI, smash the subscribe button and the bell, hit the like button. And if you're an investor interested in robust trading results, check out autotradelab.com. And otherwise, thank you so much for watching.